Hey everyone, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home, and in today's video, these are some of the most fun videos that I get to make because we're going to talk about new 4K releases. So I did one of these videos a couple months ago, and since then so much new news has come out about just 4K in particular that I thought I needed to dedicate a whole video to it. So this video here will go through basically the rest of August, all of September, and most of October, at least halfway through October, as far as releases that, we have some actual dates on. Lots of cool stuff here in this video. I'm going to try to run through each date pretty quick. Otherwise, this will be like a 40-minute video, but I'll run through each date, tell you what's coming, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments when you're watching this. But this is a really, really exciting video because this is such a good sign for 4K. Never mind all the great Blu-ray 1080p stuff that's still coming out, but these are some of the best releases that I've heard of, and this next 3 or 4 months is going to be really, really exciting. So with that being said, I'm going to jump right into it here. So real quick, I'm going to go back to August 3rd. I did mention this in my last video, which is the day that the Transformers animated 4K movie is coming out, but we also got confirmed that Luca, which is the new Disney Pixar movie, that's going to be coming out on 4K on August 3rd as well. So that one gets added to the front end of August. And then jumping right up to August 24th, we actually have a couple of boutique studio titles that have been announced recently. First one is Cat of Nine Tails. That's coming from Arrow Video on 4K. That should be a pretty cool release. And then we have Two Evil Eyes, which is coming from Blue Underground. And don't sleep on Blue Underground. I have a few of their discs to talk about in my next video, but they do excellent 4K transfers. So I'm excited to see more work from them. So now jumping ahead 1 week to August 31st. First of all, we've got a date for Heat on 4K. This is coming from Disney and Fox. This is one that I talked about, God, probably a year ago at this point, but we finally have a release date. Right now it's 8/31, but anything that's Disney Fox, I'll say this before I get into some of their other announcements that have come out, but all of those dates are a little bit fluid because things jump around, but Heat should be coming out end of August. Then we get another boutique release from Arrow Video. They're doing Dune on 4K, which is really nice. That disc should look incredible. That could be a really nice release, but it also ties in nicely with the new Dune movie that's coming out towards the end of this year. And then we also have another catalog title. This is the set date right now for In the Heights on 4K. So pretty interesting that we're getting In the Heights on 4K before we're getting Justice League, the Snyder Cut, both of those being HBO Max movies. But stay tuned because the next week on September 7th, we are jumping in and we're getting Justice League Snyder Cut in the United States. So Warner Brothers held out on that for quite a while, probably to drive more streaming signups, and obviously it's a big, major title for HBO Max right now. But on September 7th, we are finally getting a 4K release in the US. It has been out in the UK for about a month now, but finally, all you guys in the US can grab that. And then also on that day, you're getting a couple, these aren't new releases, but they're individual releases from a box set. You're getting Rear Window and Vertigo, which is kind of nice because those were both part of the Hitchcock set. We already got Psycho and The Birds, so now you'll be able to own those individually if you didn't want to buy the whole set and maybe you were only looking for either one of those. They're both excellent 4K discs, but Vertigo is some reference quality 4K. So if you like that movie, you'll love this 4K disc. Now also on this day, another one from Disney and Fox, we have Unbreakable on 4K, which is the first in the series of that M. Night Shyamalan series with Unbreakable, Split, and then Glass. This is the beginning story, which all ties into that trilogy. It's from the late 90s. So Unbreakable is coming to 4K again. That could be iffy, but this is another Disney Fox, I should say, 4K transfer they had sitting in the vault already. So still no new transfers, but they are at least taking some of what Fox had already done and putting it out into 4K, which is a thumbs up. And then we also, very exciting for me, because I'm a huge horror fan, and a lot of this stuff's, not surprisingly, because it's September, October, it's Halloween season, a lot of this is horror focused that's been announced recently, but this is a big one. It's John Carpenter's The Thing is coming to 4K. It's got a steelbook, and I believe it should have a traditional release, but very exciting because that should look fantastic. That's a great movie for 4K. We'll have to see how the practical effects play out, but they're awesome. And so looking forward to that on the 7th. And then there are some rumors right now. They're not super confirmed. I haven't been able to hear, is this a go or is it not? but the first 4 Star Trek movies, the first 4 originals, which includes Wrath of Khan, A Voyage Home, and those are coming to 4K supposedly on September 7th, but that date may get moved as well. Now jumping up to September 14th, obviously this is a big day because this is Columbia Classics release day. So I talked about that in a past video. Definitely go check that out if you want the full details on what's in the Columbia Classics set. But September 14th is release day for that. And then we also have a catalog title, and it's Hansel and Gretel, The Witch Hunters, is coming to 4K. So bit of an interesting title there, not one that I really expected to come to 4K. Not really sure, how they decide sometimes that's coming to 4K and not something else. Maybe the transfer already existed, but if you do like that movie, you'll be getting a 4K release. Now up 1 week again to 9/21, September 21st, and of course these are all Tuesdays. That's when new movies are released on Tuesdays. The 21st is a pretty good day. First of all, we got Cruella coming from Disney, so that's getting a 4K release from their Disney Plus, and small theatrical run there. Came out right near the end of COVID restrictions and stuff. So it was mostly a Disney Plus title, but Emma Stone's in that one. And then we're also getting A Clockwork Orange on 4K, which is one I talked about, I believe, last year, but I'm finally getting a date on that, which is awesome. Cannot wait for that movie because so far Stanley Kubrick's 4K releases, not that he's doing them, but his movies in 4K have so far been some of the most impressive. When you think about The Shining, 2001, and Spartacus, just hands down amazing. So it must be something to do with the way he shot, the way they preserved those movies, but I'm super pumped for Clockwork Orange. And then also we're getting Highlander on 4K, but that's coming from Studio Canal, so that's most likely going to be a UK release, but again, 4K is region free, so you can always port it over to the US, and I would expect that to possibly come from the US. If it's coming from Studio Canal, I could see somebody like Arrow Video picking up 4K rights over in the US at some point as well. So now jumping ahead to September 28th, this is a big day, big day for horror fans. First, we've got Arrow Video's 4K release of Children of the Corn. I remember the Blu-rays of Children of the Corn looking really poor, and I've watched it on TV and on streaming sometimes, and the transfer has never been that good. So I'm really excited to see what they can do and if they can fix it up, because it certainly has great potential. Not a very colorful movie, but one that should look much more detailed than it has. Then on September 28th, this is a big time release, and I'm jumping the gun maybe by a day. I'm hearing that Shout Factory and Scream Factory, where this release is coming from, are supposed to announce this tomorrow, so I don't want to blow up their announcement, but it is also super important news and obviously stuff you guys will be hearing about. So why not hear it from me in this video and other accounts online? It just builds the hype. But we're getting Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right now on 4K from Shout Factory under their Scream Factory label. So Shout and Scream, so Scream Factory did Halloween 2 and Halloween 3 as Blu-ray collector's editions. They also did a full Halloween box set, which was very hard to find now. It was a big box set a couple years ago, actually more like 7 or 8 years ago, I think, which was much like their Friday the 13th set they just put out, big, expansive box set. But now they're getting into 4K, and interestingly enough, they're also doing the first Halloween, which already had a 4K release. But these will be the typical, Shout Factory, Scream Factory collector's editions that may have more extras. They'll have different slipcovers, different artwork, maybe some posters or reversible stuff. We don't know what's in them yet, so I won't speculate. Stay tuned for that news. But on September 28th, which ties in nicely with the new Halloween Kills movie, we're going to get all of those on 4K. So those have been some of my most wanted releases, is the Halloween series. I'd love to see them do a full box set. Right now they've only announced 1 to 5. Who knows, maybe they'll surprise me tomorrow with the announcement of the whole series up to even Rob Zombie's Halloween. I really don't know what's going to happen there. They may be waiting until this next trilogy comes out, but at least we're getting 2 should be great. Halloween 3 should be really cool to get in 4K, and 4 and 5, the source on them is not great, so I'm hesitant on how they're going to look in 4K, but I'd love to see them try and do an upgrade. So now there's nothing for the next couple weeks. Gets a little bit slow early October, but what I do know is that on October 12th, we should be getting Roger Rabbit on 4K from Disney and Fox. Again, another one they had in the vault, and they were just kind of sitting on and not releasing it. So now they are putting it out on disc and mastering a new disc for that. So that's awesome to see. That's October 12th. Then on October 19th, this is a huge 4K day. There's a ton of stuff coming here. So first, the release of Gravity on 4K is coming in the 19th. Another one I talked about a while back as, you know, one title I knew was coming. We finally got a date. It's October 19th. It will have Atmos, which was only previously available on a hard to find Diamond Lux Blu-ray. So now you'll be able to finally get that on a more available release. We're also getting on the 19th Scream. So Wes Craven's very famous meta horror satire slasher movie, one of the best horror movies of all time. We're getting that in 4K. I'm pumped for that. Anything horror I love, anything 4K I love, so mix them. I'm in love. And then we've got some cool stuff coming from Blue Underground as well. So we've got Maniac Cop 2 and 3 coming from Blue Underground on 4K. Then from Synapse, another boutique label, we've got Demons 1 and 2 coming to 4K. So we're getting some really cool, you know, almost like horror deep cuts from these boutique studios, which is awesome to see. And then we're also getting the Addams Family movie from the 90s on top of all that. So the 19th is a day that your wallet is going to scream at you because there's a ton of stuff coming out that day, but a ton of really, really good stuff that I'm super excited about. Then if we jump up one more week to October 26th, this is the last date that I feel comfortable giving right now. You know, there's some rumors out there and some other stuff, but on the 26th, we get a couple really nice catalog titles. The first one is important, and it's Dusk Till Dawn. The reason that is so important, first of all, great movie, can't wait to see it in 4K, but it'll also be the first Tarantino movie that's come to 4K from his catalog. Of course, we have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but that was a new release, obviously that went to 4K. But we haven't seen anything like Inglourious Basterds, which has been rumored. I'd love to see Django, I'd love to see Hateful Eight, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill. I mean, honestly, I'd love to see all 9 of them at this point. But right now, this is the first one we're getting that's a back catalog title. So that's important because that could mean maybe there's some other stuff in the works. I'd love to see a box set. And then also on the 26th, we're getting Carlito's Way, which is a pretty cool Al Pacino movie, another catalog title. Love to see that, you know, the Paramounts, Warner Brothers, Universals, even now Disney and Fox and Sony, and, you know, they're all jumping into this now and they're really embracing 4K. And, you know, people say physical media is dying, 4K is going to die off. We got a pretty damn good schedule here. There's a ton of really, really great titles on this list, and this is just the next couple months. So I personally am really optimistic, very excited. I'm definitely going to be busy, especially since most of this comes out either right before or right after my wife's due date with the baby. So I'm going to try my best to keep up on all these titles and get reviews out to you, but I'm really, really excited for the next few months for 4K. And then I also have some other sort of exciting news rumors, but the rumor is right now from sources that Disney and Fox, they're, well, you know, now one and the same, so it's basically Disney. I keep saying Fox just because it's a Fox title, but Home Alone 2 is actually being worked on as a 4K master. So this is the first title since Disney acquired Fox that they've actually gone in and started to do some restoration work on for a potential 4K release. Everything else was either already in the Fox vault, ready to go. All the 4K movies Disney's been putting out are either brand new releases or were already, you know, done in 4K a couple years ago. So this is exciting news because from my sources, I'm hearing Disney heard the community. They heard what we wanted. They realized there's a market still, and they're actually taking a look now at doing some more Fox and Disney back catalog stuff. So overall, that is it for this video. That's just sort of your release calendar, what's coming up. If there are pre-order links, I will put them down in the description, but a lot of this stuff, you know, hasn't even been like formally announced by the studios, which means there aren't listings online yet. A lot of this is still in the works, but, you know, dates are set. Not a lot of artwork is set, which is why you didn't see me put a lot of 4K artwork. There's still, you know, all those details to be worked out. But we know that I would say 90% of this will come out on the dates that I mentioned here. There's maybe going to be a few adjustments here and there. It depends on disc manufacturing and the masters and how things go. But I'm really confident in 90% of this coming out on these days. And I'm confident that 100% of what's here is coming to 4K. So I do want to say if you want to follow along for, like, you know, up to the date release information, there's a couple accounts on there on Instagram, but honestly the one that I have followed for a very long time and I talk to regularly pretty good guy, is Geek Gab News. So he's on Instagram, also on Twitter. But if you follow his account, you know, he usually breaks the news first. He has a lot of sources. He clearly has some ins in the industry, and you know, whether or not he always gets the dates 100% right doesn't matter, because he knows which titles are coming. So you'll see stuff, hey, I know Roger Rabbit's coming, and people say, oh, it's not coming, you got the date wrong. Well, Disney moved the date, but he confirmed it was coming, and we later got a date for it. So, you know, I've very rarely had an instance where that account misled me, and even if it was wrong in some cases, or, you know, obviously made a mistake or heard something, he corrects himself and takes it down. So like he's a solid all-around account to follow, and if you do want to stay up to date on stuff like this, that's where I would go. So I'll leave a link to him down in the description as well. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Lots of exciting stuff. Let me know in the comments which one you're most excited for. For me, it's the Halloween movies and The Thing. I'm a big John Carpenter guy, so those are huge releases for me. But Scream, Gravity, lots of good stuff. Heat, Dune, I mean, almost too much. So get your wallets ready, start saving now. It's going to be a big end of the year for 2021. I'm really pumped for it. But yeah, that's about it. So follow me on social media. All the links are in the description. Check out how you can support my channel down there as well. And I appreciate y'all watching. That's the best way to support. So make sure you subscribe, like the video so others will see it, and we'll get back with more 4K reviews very soon. I got some cool stuff in the backlog. So stay tuned for all that. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.